This program is going to talk you through the difference between a range-based loop and a non-range-based loop. Your range-based loop is a loop that our typical for loop, is a non-range-based loop, and it starts at 0, goes through the array size, and increments the counter. If I run this code, you can see down below here it says enter an integer for temperature 0, temperature 1, temperature 2. So a couple of things I would probably want to fix on this. Number one would be I wanted to say, the first temperature, second temperature, third temperature. So I'm going to use this counter plus 1 here. So when it's on index 0, it'll print 1, index 1, it'll print 2. So this is going to match up with the element that I'm on. It won't be the same as the index, but it'll be the element that I'm on. And then it says cin, temperature counter, etc. And then when we outputted it, we used the same type of a loop. Well, a ranged base loop is what we're wanting you to use for this, and a ranged base loop is one that automatically processes a range. And so that's what we want to use. The trick to that is to use just the data type, for example, int, and then we are going to use every temp colon temperatures is the syntax, but I read this in my mind as every temp in temperatures. And what happens is then notice it doesn't have any 0 to whatever. It doesn't have like a counting variable because it does it all automatically. And then temp is the value that's in the array. So you don't have to use your bracket notation here. You just say, I'm going to output that temp, and it will output the temperature. So if we execute this, let me save it first, and then if we execute it and we enter our temperatures, and now we'll say please enter temperature 1, temperature 2, temperature 3. These are not the array indices anymore. These numbers are just first element, second element, third element. You know behind the scenes that they have different indices, and then there's our temperatures that are outputted. Also remember in your code, I am wanting you to copy this execution of your code and to paste it below. So you just copy and paste. If you're using the GDB debugger, it does put in some extra stuff. Delete that out. So I have the execution of your code here. So the ranged based loop is basically a shortcut in order for you to easily process a loop. You may not change values in a ranged based loop unless you maybe use some special pass by reference things, but typically it's just used for processing, okay, for when you don't need to change the values. I did just Google ranged based loops and I went to Geeks for Geeks and they have some other information on it, and so this is a really good website. So please also don't forget to Google if you have a question on stuff. That's it.